Very good evening to you all and welcome to News Tonight this Tuesday, the 3rd day of May 2022. On sign language, it is Elizabeth Nakakuni and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, and these are our top stories. Tonight, government reveals plans to reopen Facebook. Report ranks Kawempe with highest pollution concentration in the country. Police arrest 57 over pickpocketing, robbery, domestic violence during Eid al-Fitr. And in sports, top African drivers arrive in the country for the Pearl of Africa Uganda Rally. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, today marks World Press Freedom Day, a time when the media fraternity takes stock and calls upon policymakers to understand their role. But as they commemorate the day, the media is under siege, with World Press Freedom Day commemorated on the theme Journalism Under Digital Siege. Journalists want working conditions improved and remind governments to respect press freedom, as we hear in this story.
Uganda journalists have joined the world to celebrate the World Press Freedom Day on the theme Journalism Under Digital Siege. Although the theme highlights ways in which surveillance and digitally mediated attacks endanger the journalism profession, the media seems failing to deliver its mandate. Journalists hold policy accountable to the public and are actually the eyes and ears of the public, but the digital era has ushered in more players who escape the gatekeeping process. John Cliff Wamala, a journalist, is a victim of attacks. While on duty, he strives for press freedom.
So find that the Anglicans have our association, the Muslims have their own association, the Adventists, the Seventh Adventists, and so on and so forth. Yet it would be better if we come together with one body. It would be easy for us to address our challenges. When we speak, we'd be speaking as one whole. But now you find that Anglicans are demanding for this, Muslims are demanding for this, Ouija is demanding for this. Then you have other scholars of the same profession who don't subscribe to Ouija.
The Constitution provides for freedom of the press and expression. The Uganda Communications Commission, UCC, and Uganda Media Council also regulate media operations and as well mediate the process of advocating for proper working conditions and remuneration, although they have suppressed the provisions of the supreme law of the land, the Constitution.
Faith-based media houses. This has become a song. Faith-based media houses have continued not to pay journalists. So after work, at the end of the month, you'll be informed that you are working with the house of God. They start speaking all the good English. The house of God, you're working with the house of God, and then, your man has been given to God. No.
Every 3rd May is a reflection for media professionals on press freedom and ethics. In Uganda, the day has been used to remember journalists who have lost life while on duty. Brian Tumwinebyaro, UBC News.
Meanwhile, the government of Uganda has announced that the resumption of Facebook platform in the country is underway as they are in final engagement with the service providers. Minister of State for National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, was officiating at this year's media dialogue organized by Media, UN Human Rights Players, Uganda Human Rights Commission, and attended by the Fourth Estate. Now, this was part of this year's commemoration of the International World Press Freedom Day, held every 3rd of May.
Media practitioners in Uganda have joined the rest of the world in commemorating the World Press Freedom Day. The day carried on the theme Journalism Under Digital Siege converges policymakers, journalists, media representatives, activists, cybersecurity managers and legal experts to explore issues and develop concrete solutions to address the threats posed by increased surveillance to press freedom and privacy.
There are many of them doing a great job in Uganda. Unfortunately, there are others, either because of lack of capacity or because of negative influence, are not doing well. And we are ready to contribute to building the capacity and sensitize these journalists or media houses.
In Kampala City, United Human Rights, in partnership with the Uganda Human Rights Commission, have organized a one-day media dialogue.
The doctor here has brought very, very pertinent issues, which we need to capture early enough.
The discussion centered on the limited and volatile space of operation for the media industry.
And I recall the exercise whereby journalists were smashed, were brutalized in front of my office. And I remember that when we reached out to government, immediate action was taken and some of the security operatives responsible for those violations were punished.
Mariam Wagadia is the chairperson of Uganda Human Rights Commission.
This job has certain parameters. As you impart, as you gather the information, as you communicate, there are a few limitations that go with your work, including the duty of care to communicate that which is factual.
But the Uganda police and sister security agencies still top major reports as #1 violators of journalists' rights and freedom.
The IGP has come out to reiterate his very strong signal that any attacks on journalists are acceptable and must not go unpunished. And is reminded all commanders to act quickly to protect journalists and in addition initiate prompt, thorough and transparent investigations and ensure that perpetrators are brought to justice.
The continued government clampdown on Facebook services was also raised as a setback towards media freedom in Uganda.
Don't abuse government. Even we in government get annoyed. You know, you think you are the only ones who get annoyed. Even we in government are human beings like you. We do what? We get annoyed. So don't abuse me on Facebook. And yet you know I have the authority to disorganize.
State Minister for ICT in charge of national guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, says plans to resume the platform are underway.
But right now we are completing negotiations on how we should operate, Facebook and us as a nation. And we have agreed on most of the terms. Very soon, I don't think it has a lot of days, so that we open Facebook and then you can enjoy it, but enjoy it responsibly.
To streamline the operations of the media industry in Uganda, will constitute a communication tribunal and shut down media houses that breach the country's laws. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Ugandans hail the role played by the media to disseminate information and promote accountability. Now, though characterized with many challenges, Ugandans believe that journalists should be supported to do their work. Let's get more in this report.
Journalists commemorate World Press Freedom Day. Ugandans seem to have a different perspective. Dwellers in Kampala city centre show the significance of celebrating such a day. Some acknowledge that journalism profession bridges the gap between policymakers and the public. Uganda's constitution provides for freedom of speech and expression, which is an ideal to pushing the development agenda in a democratic society. But on the political scene, the Democratic Party Secretary General argues that the judiciary should bring perpetrators who attack journalists to book.
We want to see trial to conclusion of those that violate the rights of our men and women in the press, as they try to portray and bring out the human rights violation to our people.
3rd May World Press Freedom Day reminds government of the need to respect their commitment to press freedom and is also a day of reflection among media fraternity on professionalism and media ethics.
To other news now, and government is at risk of spending on treatment of respiratory diseases in Kampala urban cities dwellers following the increasing levels of air pollution in the city. A report from Air Quality Monitoring Network shows that Kampala City has, for the last 7 months, experienced extremely high levels of air pollution above the expected level by the World Health Organization. Now, this was during a press conference at the Uganda Media Center here in Kampala.
Air pollution levels recorded in all divisions of Kampala were more than 5 times higher than the World Health Organization guidelines.
Kampala City has for the last 7 months registered the highest levels of air pollution above the expected levels as per the World Health Organization. A report by Air Quality Monitoring Network shows that Kawempe Division has the highest pollution concentration. Civic
recorded the highest concentration at 57 micrograms per meter cubed, which was 10 times higher than the World Health Organization guideline for ambient air quality.
Busega recorded for some days, it recorded as high as 230 micrograms per cubic meter.
The contributing pollutant sources in the report include vehicles in dangerous mechanical conditions, open solid waste burning and disposal, dusty roads and higher concentration of factories in Kampala City. As Uganda commemorates the World Quality Air Week, recommendations include adopting greenhouse
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
107.3 Kampala, 96.9 Mbale, 95.7 Jinja, 98.6 Soroti. You are all covered.
UBC Butego. UBC Butego.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves. High-flying saves. Unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebrations. All all 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV, love it.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Be alert! Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves. High-flying saves. Unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV, love it.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV, and we do apologize for the glitch in the technical service, but it was due to some technical problems that we have just been encountering here. But we are back and let's move on. Kampala Metropolitan Police arrested 57 suspects during the Eid al-Fitr celebrations over cases of pickpocketing, robbery and domestic violence. The police have also reported 119 road accidents, which claimed 23 people in the two public holidays of Labor Day and Eid al-Fitr.
The crime report of last week has indicated that major incidents happened during the main public holidays of Labor Day and Eid al-Fitr. In Kampala metropolitan celebrations for Eid al-Fitr, unscrupulous individuals took advantage of others.
On allegations of theft, there are some phones that have also been recovered, and we shall be relaying this information further and informing the owners to come and pick these phones at the relevant police stations, as I will indicate in the statement I will be writing earlier on.
During the special prayers, some disguised as believers to snatch belongings, especially shoes, around crowded mosques.
During prayers at Old Kampala, we were participating in pickpocketing, stealing some property from people who had gone for worshipping.
At night, during celebrations, event organizers who failed to meet security requirements were blocked, and those tried to misbehave, police arrested 37 of them.
Able to arrest 37 suspects who are also found at different venues of concerts that were in the jurisdiction of Katwe Police. Katwe Police hosted the biggest number of concerts, about 7.
During the celebrations, traffic police reinforced operations and 9,679 traffic offenders were arrested.
Reckless driving, there are 1,709 offenders. DMCs, that is driving vehicles which are in a dangerous mechanical condition, there are 2,089.
The celebrations of Labor Day and Eid al-Fitr brought 119 accidents, where 62 were fatal and 36 minor, involving 111 victims, claiming 23 lives, and 88 people sustained serious injuries.
Drive with discipline and respect all the road signages on the road to fight carnage on the roads.
Police have called upon fuel station owners to upscale the security of the night shifts. This is due to the increasing petrol station robberies, and a week in review, 2 petrol stations were attacked.
Fuel station Semto branch in Nakaseke was raided by 5 suspects who were armed with iron bars. They also indicate that their assailants had guns, which we are also investigating.
In the general weekly crime report, police registered 20 major incidents which claimed 10 lives. Murder is taking the lead, followed by domestic violence, homicide, among others. Abdul Nasir Luwama, UBC News.
The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has warned vandals of government property donated to the newly commissioned Seed secondary schools. And this follows unknown people who broke into the computer laboratory and stole 8 computers belonging to Lubuwe Seed Secondary School in Katikamu, Luero District.
Recently, government commissioned seed secondary schools across the country and donated computers, textbooks to ensure a conducive environment of the learners. But strangers are stealing property belonging to the seed secondary schools. At Lubuwe Seed Secondary School in Luero District, 8 computers were stolen after thieves broke in through the window. State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, is worried that such behavior will affect quality education for learners.
We have installed in our schools is is protected. Nobody should do all that we are having, all that we have been given should be protected to enable even those other generations to come to benefit from these services. That's why I'm calling upon all of us to become patriotic.
The minister was addressing over 20,000 ongoing learners and those that completed under Bamnanika Constituency Education Fund during the seminar at Bamnanika Mulajje Technical Institute in Luwero on the issue of BusSafe program. He promised it will continue and advised communities in Bamnanika not to politicize the program. He advised parents as schools prepare for the second term to be responsible for their children. The Deputy RDC Luwero, Mariam Kaberuka, thanked the minister for improving the education sector, but hinted on the rampant land wrangles.
Mutunde ettaka mudduka mulaga wa. Bannange, fete tujja kuttira muntu ku liiso ng'ojja olw'okuba olyani omanyani ng'okola eby'obuyaaye mbu tukuttire ku liiso. Twebaza President Museveni olw'ettaka bwe twatuuse. Ekizibu ky'ettaka bwe kyayitiridde yaweereza ofiisi y'ettaka okuva mu State House bali Luweero bawandiika buli bizibu byonna eby'amataka.
The function attended, among others, the Bishop of Luwero Diocese, Sudat Kaye. Fred Kasimante, UBC News.
Now, the General Court Martial has declined to grant a prominent court bailiff, Moses Chirunda, and a UPDF soldier, Major Max Nelson Chatuka, bail. The chairman, Lieutenant General Andrew Guti, ruling in the matter shows that the two accused persons are likely to interfere with investigations. Court bailiff Moses Chirunda and the UPDF soldier are accused of murdering one Majid Mugwanya in areas of Chitunzi. Let's get more in this report.
A prominent court bailiff Moses Chirunda and a UPDF soldier, Major Max Nelson Chatuka, who were charged for allegedly killing one Majid Mugwanya, have appeared at the General Court Martial in Machinde for a ruling on their bail application. The two accused persons applied for bail on grounds that they are first-time offenders and each presented two sureties to court. Prosecution led by Lieutenant Colonel Raphael Mogisha objected and asked court to decline the bail. Chairman General Court Martial Lieutenant General Andrew Guti ruled declining to grant Moses Chirunda and Major Max Nelson Chatuka bail, although the accused
that having a fixed place of abode is not itself enough ground. 4. The sureties presented were not substantial. 5. That the state is ready to expedite the trial. This court, after listening to the submission of both counsels for the applicant and respondent, has deliberated on this application and finds as follows. 1. The applicants are charged with murder, contrary to sections 188 and 189 of the Penal Code Act.
Persons presented substantial sureties to court. Chairman Andrew Guti, however, dismissed the bail application. Court remanded Major Max
that this court has discretion to grant or not to grant bail, that the applicants are age 50 years and above and advanced age, that the applicants did not prove that they have a fixed place of abode within this court's education, that the sureties were substantial, that the applicants will interfere with the investigation if released on bail. Accordingly, this court declines to grant bail to the applicants, and the application is hereby dismissed. Court orders an expeditious trial of the applicants in the main case. We so rule, done at Makini this 3rd day of May.
Nelson Chatuka to Machinde Barracks Prison and Moses Chirunda to Chitalia Government Prison. Nantong Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
In a related development, the General Court Martial has declined to quash the lower court decision when it sentenced Private Nahewa Joshua to 2 years in prison. Private Nahewa was found guilty of fraudulently acquiring 600,000 Ugandan shillings from 3 police officers with the name of including them in a battle group mission at Singo Peace Support Operation. In another development, the same court has sentenced Private Dennis Tumukundi to 2 years in prison after being found guilty on charges of failing to protect war materials and unlawful possession of firearms.
The General Court Martial found guilty on charges of fraudulent offences 30-year Private Nahewa Joshua, a duty clerk recorded at Single Peace Support Operation Training Center in Kapeka Sub-County in Nakaseke District. Private Nahewa Joshua was sentenced to 2 years for fraudulently obtaining 600,000 Ugandan shillings from Private Impendehe Andrew Cosmas, Private Nangi Defenenkan, and Kusasira Ashaf to include them in the Battle Group 33 mission at Single Peace Support Operation Training Center. Private Nahewa Joshua appealed the sentence, citing that the lower court erred in law in reaching to such a deterrent sentence against him. Prosecution objected the prayers. Chairman General Court Martial Lieutenant General Andrew Guti declined to quash the lower court decision.
This court finds that a maximum sentence of this offense is 7 years imprisonment, and therefore a sentence of 2 years detention is not harsh or excessive in the circumstances. This court finds no reason to interfere with the sentence of the trial court, and the appeal is hereby dismissed.
Basing on this, Private Nahewa Joshua was remanded to Machinde Barracks Prison to serve his 2-year sentence.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the same court has sentenced Private Tumukunde Denise to 2 years in prison after being found guilty on charges of failure to protect war materials and unlawful possession of fire ammunitions.
5, that the offences are of a capital nature. 6, that the maximum sentence for each offence is death. 7, that a period of 6 years is appropriate on count 1. 8, that there is need for a deterrent sentence in this case. On count 1, 2 years imprisonment. On count 2, 2 years imprisonment. Sentences to run concurrently. You have a right to appeal within 14 days if you are not satisfied up with the judgment of this court.
Prosecution presented 5 witnesses in this matter. During that trial, prosecution informed court that on 19th May 2018, at Bendegede Village, Katabi Town Council in Wachiso District, Tumukunde was found in legal possession of a submachine SMG gun with 10 rounds of ammunition. Residents of Katabi Town Council informed security operatives in the area that an illegal gun was being used to rob between Abaita Babiri Kasenyi and Entebbe Express Highway. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Secretary General Richard Todwong has urged local government leaders and district chairpersons to implement the NRM manifesto ahead of the 2026 presidential elections. Mr. Todwong was addressing an induction retreat of district chairpersons from Bunyoro, Rwenzori and Kigezi sub-regions at the National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi.
The Secretary General NRM Party Richard Todwong wants district leaders to know what the NRM manifesto entails.
At times I feel embarrassed. I go with the president for campaign, he stands on the podium and says, there is free UPE. Then you hear people shouting, no, we are paying. And when you start digging deeper, you know that the capitation grant that is sent to schools at times is not enough. Urban schools, I was in Sironko, I found a primary school, 1 stream alone, 1 class had about 3 streams. And they didn't have enough space to put children. The school is oversubscribed, especially after the lockdown. I think people were overproducing during the lockdown. All the schools are flooded with the children.
During the induction retreat on manifesto implementation for the district leaders from Ankole, Bunyoro, Rwenzori and Kigezi sub-region, Todwong said it's time to fulfill promises made to the electorate.
Every failed government project, there is a succeeding private project. Quote me on this, and I'm speaking with authority over this. Whether a road project has collapsed and failed, you follow those who are in charge directly. Somebody somewhere in the system, in the line, in the chain, is benefiting.
The senior presidential advisor in charge of economic and manifesto implementation, Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, urged leaders to mobilize the population against poverty.
If you are a member of the party in a multi-party political system, your song is the manifesto. To me, to be a member of a party and be independent of it is a contradiction in my judgment. How can you be a member of the party and then you are independent of it? Well, you have mentioned the problem of register, vichivichi. But in every competition, so I can put a question. So when will all these problems be cured so that a member of parliament is a member of parliament of the party and is not independent because, the register went bad. Anyway.
The director of Manifesto Implementation Unit at the Office of the President, Willis Bashasha, says the induction meeting checks the readiness of implementing the NRM manifesto.
However, as a local government, we still face one challenge, that whatever we plan to make, to work on in the end of the financial years, are facilitated by central government. But at the moment we are facing a challenge because you cannot talk about manifesto implementation when the budget, Minister of Finance keeps on slashing down budget allocation to local government.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Let's now take a short break, but we'll be returning with business and sports news. Stay with us.
Today in history.
On 2nd May 2011, Osama bin Laden, leader of the Al-Qaeda, was killed by the US forces during a raid in his compound hideout. He was the founder of the Pan-Islamic Militant Organization and was born on 10th March 1957 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Be alert! Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves. High-flying saves. Unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay, or Peg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Come back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of sport, and we begin with rallying, where top rally drivers have started arriving in the country ahead of this year's Pearl of Africa Uganda rally. Championship leaders Leroy Gabriel and Oshla were among the top drivers who arrived early before the race. Now the race will start with a shakedown section in Namataba to give chance to the crew to test their machines in a terrain similar to the racetrack. 10 foreign crews, including Maxime Wahome, Sachania Nikhil and Hamza Anwar, will compete alongside 39 local top racers, Ponciano Ruakataka, Hassan Alwi, Ahmed Ashraf, Duncan Mubiru and others. Now drivers will compete in 9 stages, including Sheikh Meta, Kasaku T and Nachiunga. The heat is slated for Friday, May the 5th.
Look, I mean, Uganda, wow, this for me is the heart of rally. When I say the heart of rally, you have the biggest fans, biggest fan base. You know, if you've not raced in Uganda, you've not seen fans in Africa. So it's so great to be back here among great rally enthusiasts. Great. We're going to have some tough competition. I mean, of course, you've got Karen Patel that's coming, and then you've got the local favorites that are also here, upgrading their cars, getting quicker as well. It'll be a battle. I mean, you never go into a rally thinking it'll be easy. We'll have to drive. The weather, I believe, has been raining quite a bit, so we don't know what the conditions are like on the routes until we get there. But it's going to be a challenge, and a rally, it's only over when you get to the end. So you just don't know what's going to happen. Safety is key. FI is really pushing that. And I think there's been a lot of work that's been happening in the background with the Ugandan fans. Look, you can't really stop everything. Just everyone be safe. These cars can be replaced, your lives can't. And for me, I respect life more than anything. But, like I said, they're so passionate. There's not so much you can do. To be prepped up. They're doing a good job getting bumpers done.
Kampala University has registered the second consecutive win after beating Uganda Martyrs University 2-1 in a game played at Kibuli Demonstration School. Richard Tumsime gave the host, Kampala University, the lead in the 12th minute with a well-headed goal that was, however, cancelled by Henry Tumsime's 47th minute equalizer for Uganda Martyrs University. Kampala University remained unrelenting in its search for a winner and got due reward when Said Mayanja converted from the penalty spot in the 57th minute. Now the result moves Kampala University atop Group E on 6 points from 3 games, while Uganda Martyrs University is glued at the bottom with just 3 points from 3 games. In the same Group E, Gulu University is second on 3 points and Ndeje University third, with these two playing their third game on Sunday. In the meantime, action in the Pepsi University Football League continues on Thursday, with Islamic University in Uganda hosting Bustema University in Mbale.
Well, the game, it was good. And the boys, they have tried to put things which I have told them to do in terms of the principles in different departments, defense, midfield and striking line. Tactically, the game, it was good because we tried to balance the field. Because when you balance the field, it means the ball follows. So I want to thank so much my boys, discipline, which they have shown us. And the game, really, it was very good. So I cannot say much apart for having a good results today.
44 minutes after 8 in the studios of UBC TV, we finally come to the end of the first edition of News Tonight. But before we leave you, let's have a quick reminder of our top stories. Tonight, the government reveals plans to reopen Facebook. A report ranks Kawempe with highest pollution concentration. Police arrest 57 over pickpocketing, a robbery, domestic violence during Eid al-Fitr. And in sports, top African drivers arrive in the country for the Pearl of Africa Uganda Rally. And that's all we had time for. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I'm Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. See you at 10.